Hey, it's Ashley Kirkwood back with the Make More Sales Show, and I'm so excited that you all are here. Sorry we were a little bit late this morning, but my name is Ashley Kirkwood. I have done over 8 figures in lifetime sales in my business, Speak Your Way to Cash, millions upon millions of more dollars, working in corporate sales before that. I've sold everything from cigarettes, working for Philip Morris, to insurance, working for Enterprise, to car dealership marketing packages, working for cars.com, all before law school. And then I did 100 cold calls a day working for a company called Acquirent, and I was selling a Right Express fleet card. I've sold all kind of stuff, okay, across all kinds of industries. And as an entrepreneur, we've sold offers anywhere from $30 a month all the way up to $100,000 and 5 and 6 figure corporate packages in between. And so whether you are new to selling, whether you are an OG to selling, whether you are an entrepreneur that makes sales but has no clue why, this is the show for you, because I diagnose sales issues live on the air. You will see me do that today. But before we get into that, let me properly introduce myself through my introduction video.
Are you ready?
Doubt is a mental barrier. The only way doubt becomes a physical barrier is if I let it impact my decision.
And everybody know the story of David and Goliath, but this is bigger than triumph. This is for the warrior. This is for you and I. This is for euphoria. Give me a peace of mind. God is recording this. Won't you look in the sky?
Ashley Kirkwood left a very successful job to launch her own business.
She's the founder of Mobile General Counsel.
One of the baddest sisters that I know.
I'm here to talk to you about confidence, money, strategy, commitment, perfection, purpose, possibility.
What does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. The only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not try again on Tuesday.
This is how we view the corporate ladder. With every step you took, you just wanted more of their validation. These are the stumbling blocks that you all had to come over. Lack, doubt, skepticism, insecurity. And if you make it from a certain spot, go back further, shoot it again. All of a sudden, what was once too heavy, I was able to lift.
I'm about to introduce.
Join me in welcoming
Our next guest,
our legal expert, author, and the founder of Speak Your Way to Cash, Ashley Kirkwood. Ashley Kirkwood.
Ashley Kirkwood.
Ashley Kirkwood.
Ashley Kirkwood.
Ashley Kirkwood.
Ashley Kirkwood. Ashley Kirkwood.
Ashley Kirkwood!
Let's go. What's up, everybody? We are back with the Make More Sales Show. Y'all, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. It was not easy getting on here this morning, okay? From needing to restart my computer to having some scheduling changes. But I told myself I'm going to push through, because I feel like there's an entrepreneur who needs the push through. Anybody needs the push through, drop push in the comments. If you need a little Energizer bunny this morning, drop push in the comments. If you need to be here, drop it's me in the comments, because I do this show. It's really a labor of love, y'all. We've never done anything like this our entire time in business. And we do this because we know and we care a lot about entrepreneurs selling more services, because there is no way that you transform anybody if you ain't gonna sell them nothing. Can we be real? Can we be real? There's, as a business owner, as a for-profit business owner. Now, don't y'all come in the comments like, I help people all the time for free. Yes, you do. And that's okay for you if you are not a for-profit business owner. But if you are a for-profit business owner and you're giving away all of your stuff for free, I guarantee you there's a deeper level of transformation that your people could get if you actually gave them an invoice. How do I know? How do I know? Because I used to give away my services for free or cheap. I used to do everything for free or cheap or low cost. And I used to do all of that. And guess what? People's lives didn't start radically changing until they had skin in the game. There's a reason why venture capitalists like to see that you put your own money into the game. Don't nobody want to work with somebody who has no skin in the game. And sometimes the skin is the investment. But I could prove it to you. I could prove it to you another way. Let me prove it to you another way. I didn't lose weight by way of working with my fitness coach until I paid her $10,000 invoice. I couldn't use the exercise equipment at my gym until I paid their $3,000 invoice. I could not get my law degree from Northwestern until I paid $70,000 a year for it. I couldn't get my University of Illinois International Business degree before I paid them $40,000 a year for it. There is not an instance in my life I can look to, and up to and including my marriage. I couldn't say I was legally married until I paid for that $75 marriage license. Okay, like there's nothing you're going to do where there's not first a transaction. Many of you couldn't even come into this world before your parents paid for the hospital bill. before they showed some insurance, and they paid for that insurance beforehand. And even if you're on Medicare and Medicaid, guess who paid for it? The government. Somebody is always paying for something to happen. Why are entrepreneurs scared to sell? When you buy every day, you're not pissed off at the gas station because the gas rates are so high. You're not kicking the pump at the gas station because the gas prices are so high. You understand supply and demand. And even if you are upset, guess what you're going to do? Swipe that card and be so grateful that when you get in your car, it vrooms off. But it wasn't go vroom until you swiped a card. If you are an entrepreneur and you are not investing money in your business, don't expect it to vroom, sis. It's not going anywhere. Okay? Like we practically understand that it's very difficult to get big transformation without signing and writing some checks. And so our businesses are stalling because our investments are small and our dreams are big. Well, the only way you're going to have a small dream, like a big dream, a small investment, and that materializes is, let me see, I can't think of a single time I had a big dream, a small investment, and it materialized. No, I can't think of it. I literally cannot think of it. I can't think of it. I didn't become a lawyer like that. I didn't go and work at the largest law firm in the world like that. And in fact, let me show you this. Okay, because we started off hot. Let me show you this. My first law school was ranked low. Okay, it was ranked low. And it was expensive, but it was ranked low. And I did not get my dream job until I fought tooth and nail to be number 6 out of like 300 law students at that school. I was in the top 3% or 5% of all law students in that school by way of grades. And then I transferred to another law school, paid more to that school because it was more prestigious. It gave me better insight. The instruction I got was higher quality. Let's be real. Some people say there's no difference between a high-tier school and a low-tier school. I've been to both. There's a difference. Okay, there is a difference. And when I got that education, all of a sudden opportunities started opening up. But even when opportunities were more likely for me, I still had to study. I still had to go to school every day. I still had to get top grades at the top school. I still had to put in work. I still had to put in effort. And it was a big dream to go from a low-ranked school all the way to Northwestern, top 10 law school in the world. Most people were like, Ashley, you can't do that. We haven't seen that done. And where most of you, this is where most of you all stop. Most of you stop at, oh, it's very unlikely. Why would you stop there? Why is that the end of your analysis? Okay? I didn't stop there. I said, okay, great. Most people haven't done it, but you're saying most. Who are the people that have done it? And then they told me some guy named Connor. I went and found Connor and was like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Connor, you don't know me, but you've done something I want to do. I have questions for you. What will it take for you to spend an hour with me and just break down your strategy? Connor said nobody had ever asked him his strategy. He told me what he did, and I took what he did, and I said, I'm going to do 10 times more because I don't need it might work. I need a guarantee that it's going to work. And let me be real. When I say guarantee, I don't mean like somebody's going to give me all my money back from law school if I don't make the top of my class. I mean a guarantee like I'm the safest bet. I know what I'm going to do. So I don't have to worry about if you have information that I can use to go to the next level and you give me that information, I don't lose, period. And some of you guys have told yourself, no, it sometimes doesn't work out. Sometimes I lose. Oh, the economy is bad. Oh, I can't win right now. Oh, I can't compete. Oh, competition is bad. Why don't we just collaborate? Oh, da-da-da-da-da. Cut it out. Look, if you're in business, you compete. Whether you know you competing or not is on you. But you being disillusioned about the fact that there are other people that want your same clients and you are going to have to give them the best choice for them to make a decision, period. Like, why are we afraid of competing? Why are we afraid of selling? Why are we afraid of rising? You said you were the best. You said God of heaven and earth made you. You said you were called to this business. You said you want to help people. How bad do you want to help them? Oh, I want to help them, but I'm scared to post. You don't want to help them people. Stop lying to yourself and stop lying to me. You get to decide if you are going to win or not. When someone gives you a strategy, don't do what they told you to do. Do 10 times more. Because if you do 10 times more, how do you not go further than you are at right now? How do you not win bigger than you're winning right now? I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm here to like shake y'all up, like literally take you and be like, yo, wake up. It is time for us to play bigger consistently. Not, oh, I feel motivated by this conference today, so now I'm going to just go all in. No, you're going to go all in because that's what you said you want to do. You said you want to be great. You said you want to be a business owner. You say you want to make $1 million. Who doesn't? Are you committed to it or is it a desire? Period. Are you committed or is it a desire? Let's get Let's get some more folks in here because we're about to go in, y'all. Look, share this with 3 people and drop done in the comments. Share this with 3 people and drop done in the comments. Here's my yap session of the day, child. Here's my yap session of the day, okay? I need you to scale up your ambition, okay? When you are trying to hit a goal, and I'm going to see if this works. Okay, when you are trying to hit a goal, let's say on the scale of goals, right? Let's say we're going from small to large. Here is the problem I see. Let's say your goal is, I want to make $50,000 this year. We're going to categorize that as small for the purpose of this discussion, but I don't have time to explain it, but we'll just categorize that as small for the purpose of this discussion. All numbers are relative. All numbers are relative. Your perspective and your exposure determines what is small and large to you. Okay? So there's someone that'll be like, let's categorize large as 50 million. Okay? Now, to some people, 50 million is small. It depends. If they're Jeff Bezos and they have a $50 million a year, catastrophic. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. That's horrible for them. But, if you're a small business, meaning you make less than 25 million a year, 50 million may be large to you. It may be good for you. For the purpose of this discussion, 50K is small, 50 million is large. For the purpose of this discussion, you may go well beyond that. Now, small goal, you're like, okay, well, so far I've made $0 in revenue, Ashley, but I set my goal this year to make $50,000 by the end of the year. Well, here's the problem. If you've only made $0, you actually have no clue what it takes to actually make $50,000. So whatever roadmap you set for yourself is going to be a hypothesis, meaning you don't know if you're going to reach that goal or not. You're just guessing. Maybe you have a coach, but most of you all don't have a high-end coach. Remember when I told you there's a difference between education at my first law school where it was low-ranked and my next law school that was high-ranked? There's also differences in coaches, because different coaches have different lived experiences. If their first time running a business is their coaching business, maybe their experience is a little bit different. That's not my first time running a business. Y'all, small to medium-sized businesses are not my first clients. My first clients were billion-dollar companies. I was a lawyer at one of the top firms in the world. $1 million deals were our everyday food diet. Like, most of our trials probably cost hundreds of millions of dollars. There's movies made about the law firm that I worked at. I didn't work at nowhere small. And so I didn't work in an environment. And here's what's the difference between working there versus when I worked at like a small startup. Because I worked at cars.com. I worked at other small startups, startup called iHispano. Here's the difference. When I worked at Kirkland & Ellis, okay? When I worked at McDermott, Will & Emery, which now has a new name. When I worked at Sidley & Austin, which is where Michelle and Barack Obama worked, there was a partner that said to me in my eyes, hey, Ashley, just so you know, I saw that you missed a comma here. Perfection is attainable here. Can we be real? Because so many of us have not worked at the top of these environments. So I just want to be very clear with you all. My intensity does not come from, she watched David Goggins this morning. God bless the man. It comes from understanding that businesses that are at the top operate differently. And I just want to let y'all know that because not everyone is going to be able to go and recreate my career path. Let me be clear with you. Big businesses are not big because this is a misperception. Oh, it's because the CEOs are evil and all they care about is money. And no, it is a system for sure. There may be some evil in that system, maybe, but they are not productive because they are not moral. They're productive because they operate on a system. Their thought process is different. They do not accept mediocrity. They do not accept slothfulness. They do not accept it being just okay. Absolutely not. That man looked me dead in my eye and was like, yeah, you missed a comma. Perfection is attainable here. Now, there's some people right now who would be like, Ashley, that's too intense. I don't like that. We shouldn't be operating like that. That doesn't make sense. No, we shouldn't be. No, that's too much. How about this? There are going to be people every single day that die not living out their potential because they spent their entire life trying to figure out how little they could do in order to stay safe, not realizing that safety isn't what you think. You staying safe and you staying comfortable is actually risky, because what if you really are put here to do more, but you keep putting yourself around coaches that have small-mindedness and they don't think big and they don't have vision, and so you're capping yourself based on what your coach has achieved instead of based on your own potential. Stop hiring cheap coaches for expensive goals. Stop speaking to small-minded people about massive vision. And if the people you working with don't make you come up, feel like you could run through brick walls, go harder, go big, maybe you shouldn't be working with them. Hello? The whole point of having a coach is to go to the championship. If all you want to do is just stay small, play small, you don't need to hire nobody. Do that on your own. Don't come in their environment messing up their stuff because you want to play small. No, at the top, they talk different. Everybody's excellent at what they do. They don't waste time having, I never had anyone come into my office and be like, Ashley, I just want you to know you're beautiful, okay? You're really confident and you're smart. The assumption is I was qualified to be there because I was there. They didn't give out jobs. I had the grades, I had the intellect, I had the critical thinking ability, and when I showed up, I performed. If I had to work all night to get it done, you know what I did? I worked all night to get it done. A lot of you are like, oh, I ran out of time. How do you run out of time when time bends at your will? How do you run out of time when you said you would do whatever it takes? You don't run out of time. You can readjust time. You can move things around. You can reprioritize. Stop making excuses. That's the best thing that I could give. The best advice I could give to you is to stop making excuses. Like, if you are committed to your excuses, don't be committed to your results. No, I do want that. Yeah, of course, everybody wants stuff. But what are you committed to? What are you willing to work for? What are you willing to do whatever it takes for? Scale up your ambition. Okay, well, maybe I should, like, most of your goals are just too small. Once I started saying, okay, this year, I told Chris, I said, this year we got to start going after more seven-figure contracts. He was like, oh, okay, seven-figure contracts. Yeah, we should. All right, cool. So for what our skill set is, who is awarding seven-figure contracts? What do those terms look like? And I was like, okay, great. So I looked at Perplexity, I figured out what those terms look like, and then I went after those deals. Now, let me explain this. There is a way that you can use artificial intelligence to contract hack, meaning you can go and see what seven-figure awards have been given. I was doing it this morning as we prepare for our big pitch that's coming up next week. And many of you don't know how to leverage AI like that because you're letting AI give you your thoughts. Don't do that. You should be leveraging AI in order to help you to land bigger deals. Most people are using AI for AI clones that are still putting out bad content just like their regular person does. Don't do that. That doesn't make sense. If you're an expert, you should be leveraging it to get deals faster, to research decision makers, to like build products and tools that'll make your industry better. That's why we're doing land corporate clients using AI. Now it's next week. It's $17. Marvick will drop the link. All of y'all need to get it. Get your link, aicorporatesaleslab.com. Marvick's gonna drop the link. Y'all, if you're getting your link comment, if you're getting your ticket comment, me. It's a virtual event, 100% virtual. Everybody watching here can come, 100% virtual. You ain't got no excuse. So we're gonna be talking about how do experts, real experts, folks that knew stuff before AI came out, like how do we leverage this, not to make no little graphics or do nothing like that. No, how do we leverage it to make more sales? Period. That's the hidden discussion. Everybody teaching you how to build stuff you don't need. You don't need all that stuff. Why you need an AI clone? Your real person don't put out content. Why we need a fake person? They don't know the real you. Why they want to know the fake you? Like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're going to leverage artificial intelligence to actually make us more sales, okay? That's what we're going to do with artificial intelligence. That's how we've been leveraging it. All of our corporate sponsors that we've landed, 119,000 in 6 weeks, we leveraged AI to close almost 6 figures of deals in 6 weeks. Well, it was over 6 figures of deals in 6 weeks. That's how we use it. I don't know how y'all want to use it, okay? I don't know how y'all want to use it, but literally you can leverage it for that reason. So you need to scale up your ambition and you need to evaluate big opportunities. And the moment you go from, oh, I want to land a $5,000 client, to I want to land a $1 million contract, single contract, the ideas look different. And so for some of us, in order to be re-energized and re-excited about our businesses, we need to scale up our ambition. Go harder, scale up your ambition. What do you really want? How do you really want it to be? What are you excited about seeing? Like, scale up the ambition, and then everything else will go into place. Okay, so that was my yap session for the day. I hope y'all appreciated that. If you got a gem from that or two, drop gem in the comments. We're going to be bringing up our guest for today, Christine. I see you backstage. So we're going to bring up Christine. Christine, just as a reminder, make sure when you come up, you turn me off on your other device so that I'm only up on this device here. And that will be great. So let's get her on in here, and we're going to ask you what you sell, what you did in revenue last year, and what's your biggest sales struggle right now. Or you could say opportunity. Some people don't like saying struggle. That's fine, child. All right, Christine, welcome to the show. Let us know what you sell, what was your revenue last year, and what's your biggest opportunity with sales.
Good morning. You can hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you okay.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So I offer community engagement services to local governments. So I do government contracts, and I do community engagement consulting. And I also offer government contract training and coaching to small business owners. In 2024, I did right around 450K. And then in 2025, I did right around 235K. So there was definitely a difference between those 2 years. And in my coaching, I don't focus a lot on my coaching, and that's really what I want. You know, that's kind of my challenge right now, is really diversifying my income. Too much on the government contracts, and I have not done a lot on the coaching side. My coaching and training, it's through a program that I call Public Sector Payday, and I've made around 25K per year on that.
Okay, so number one of the first things I would say is if you're doing 250 or 450, your best year was 450,000 and $235,000 in government contracts and $25,000 in coaching. What I typically would tell my clients is like, hey, why are we focusing on coaching? Like, what's the point? Because one, it's a totally different sales cycle, and then two, it's also I don't know. You've done a little bit of it. People don't be doing the work. So there's that. But also, yes, explain to me why we want to divert from this $500,000 business that we've had. We could get that back up with filling in with corporate contracts, privatized contracts. But why do you want to divert from that to coaching specifically?
That I want to divert from it. It's that I want to diversify and not necessarily put all my eggs in one basket and have more than one kind of business model going on at the same time, so that I can have my coaching clients during the seasons where my consulting contracts are just not giving. And also, I love being able to serve the community, and people ask me all the time how I'm winning government contracts. So I've packaged that knowledge.
So, I just know what if you're not at $1 million in the other business, my opinion on this would be like, all right, let's get that other business back up to $1 million on its own. And then if people are in the interim asking you about government contracting, have an on-demand course that you can send them to, but it has none of your time attached to it. So if you have to diversify, that's how I would do it. But I would not spend any time talking to people who are not able to close, 5 or 6 figure contracts for me. Because once you get into high-end consulting, which is like what we do for SMBs, it takes a lot of time. Like, there's no way to do both. The way that you would do both would be that you would do like how we still land corporate contracts, but they're all funding our events for SMBs. They're all sponsoring our services for SMBs. So now I can still land 5 and 6 figure contracts, and we've done that this year. And then we're going to funnel that money back into SMBs. The goal is focus. And one thing that I had a great coach tell me was like, focus until you get to $1 million. But then when I got to $1 million, I was like, child, I still got to focus. Because it's just, there's a limit. First off, team is a thing. So let's be real about that. Everyone says, oh, hire a team, hire a team. Yeah, you have to hire a team, but how many of your team is going to be extraordinarily competent where you could look away and things still get done? Not many. Most companies, the 80-20 rule even applies to big businesses where 80% of the productivity is held by 20% of the people. And that's typically their leadership team, the rock stars. So regardless of what you do, you're going to have to focus. What I would do is I would diversify into private contracts. And I would do that because the sales cycle is somewhat similar. You could use your past performance. It translates really well. You can get referrals in the private sector from your government contracts and get that up quickly to scale it. I would have people who are in this on-demand course, and whenever I get a new opportunity, I would say, hey guys, I'm looking for some subcontractors. You all can bid on this new opportunity because you're in my program, but I would not start like one-on-one coaching people. And also be very careful about, I want to help people. I get that, but my husband says it all the time, like we typically, especially as Black women, start for-profit nonprofits. Like I'm not in the solely helping business. Like I want to work with female founders who actually have the capacity to grow. The people who need the most help actually don't have that capacity to grow. They need to build that capacity first. So we put out content that helps those individuals. And that's where my community service on the content side ends. When you come into our containers, our coaching is 30 to 100K. At that rate, it makes sense for me. They have the capacity to grow and everything works. But providing that, we have full-time coaches, W-2 staff, benefits, all the things. Like it's a coaching company. It's not like a initiative, right? And so I would do an on-demand course. That'd be the extent of that. So when they ask, you have something to get that money from them and to ensure that you're able to help them. But you're focusing on, I want to land more six-figure contracts. That's exclusively where I'm focusing, at least until $1 million or more. So let me know if that's helpful for where you're going.
Yes, it's so helpful. You pretty much just said everything that I have been not wanting to say out loud. Yeah, no, that was super helpful. I do want to focus more on corporate, so I think that's what I'm going to focus on and get research into. I have a course, I have a standalone course. It's pretty low ticket, and I do feel like the more that I try to sell it, I'm putting all this effort into selling the course, and that's not really what people want from me, you know? So I like the idea of just putting out good quality content, and that's kind of the way that I serve that community.
Yeah, and think through YouTube money as well, because if you have a YouTube show that's like how to land your first government contract, regardless if you've done it before or not, YouTube then can pay you 5 to 10K a month. Once that gets some traction, you can divert people there and then sell your course from there, and your content would sell the course. So you're doing two things at once. You're still building a community, but your main sales focus has to be on getting more of those large contracts in. It's just it just makes sense to focus there. And I'm glad you've done so well. That's amazing. I'll see you at Black Women Sell Live. Oh, let everyone know, like, what made you buy your Black Women Sell Live ticket? What ticket did you get? And how did you decide to come?
So I've been following you for a while, and I love everything that you're sharing. And I don't know, it was just in the moment. I think that people resonate emotionally. And at the top of the year, I just decided, look, 2025 was a time. And I really felt the need to do something for myself to get my revenue back up. And I want to have another 500K year. I want to have my $1 million year. So I went ahead and I got my ticket to Black Women Sell Live, and I can't wait to be there.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, we cannot wait to have you there. It's going to be awesome. And then whenever I see a dip in revenue, one of the things that sometimes happens is we get comfortable with referrals and our current clients, and we don't have an outbound sales engine that's working double time. So I would make sure that your outbound engine and your outbound networking, but like not networking where I'm going to events, but like getting people on sales calls. You're doing 3 to 5 sales calls every single week. Maybe other people can start taking on those calls, and you're constantly building relationships with prime subcontractors, even outside of the traditional event, so that you're first in mind when you can get some of those subcontracts as well. But yeah, it's going to be great, girl. And yes, we're not doing no more $500,000 years. We're doing $1 million years. You've already hit that $500,000 mark. Don't let it affect your confidence that you had a dip in revenue. It happens all the time. And when I see it happen 2 years in a row, it's typically because that first dip affects the confidence so much, and then people stop feeling like, oh, I can really do this, okay? And so definitely appreciate what you've done, and I'll see you at the event. Okay, y'all. So you all heard it here first. Whether you are just starting out in your business or you've already hit $500,000 or you've had a dip and you want to come back for that first $1 million year, you should be at Black Women Sell Live. Some of you may be wondering, what is Black Women Sell Live? Well, it is our annual 3-day event. It's going to be fabulous, and we only do this event every other year. So you will be waiting 2 years if you do not come right now. And we are doing a Juneteenth sale, y'all. Juneteenth sale. So Marvick dropped the link for them to get on the wait list for the Juneteenth sale. It's blackwomenselevent.com/Juneteenth. Check out this event, and then we'll bring up our next guest.
Ooh, I don't need y'all either. Ooh, don't wanna talk about it. Ooh, like I don't know nobody. Like I don't know nobody. I guess I don't. Oh, you mad, huh? Oh, you mad, huh? Whoa, oh, you mad, huh?
Anybody tired of making excuses as to why your client chose somebody else? Anybody sick of the market determining their revenue? Anybody tired of letting people's opinions of you determine your own?
If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, the least of the seeds, work with that. Work with it. Believe him for something and then take the next step.
Everything that you have gone through in your life is exactly the reason why you will be successful. There is not a downtrodden situation, a familial abuse, a personal attack that will not equip you for your next level. If you look at the stories of a lot of champions, they get dark because champions had to be cultivated to be strong. And the very trial that you're saying is a curse is probably the weight that is coming to make you strong.
We do not have to settle. We do not have to be manipulated. We can have anything we want as soon as we want it. How many of you are truly ready to make this your time?
I just came back for the win. Lot of new money in my hand. Go on, tell a friend to tell a friend. They say success is the best revenge.
If I see something that's not right, I call. If I'm confused, I call. If I can't do it alone, I call. Calling is strong. Calling is brave. Calling is how we grow.
Failure is a necessary ingredient in the recipe for success. And so the minute you embrace failure and understand that you fail forward, then nothing can hold you back.
I am not LeBron James, all right? Come on now.
The only way you can win is with the threat of losing. So you have to have that threat of losing. It is not wins and losses, it is wins and lessons.
I just came back for the win. Lot of new money in my hand. Go on, tell a friend to tell a friend. They say success is the best revenge.
All right, you guys. We are live. So really excited about this. Let me see how I can get my y'all, I gotta get my camera back up, my front facing camera. So give me a minute and I'll get that back up. But we are live. Okay, so we have, let me see who we have. Akin Lana, you are up next. So you guys, go ahead and check this out and we'll be right back. Mary Ellen Pleasant. How did she do it? Oh, I wish I could just screw myself.
Mary Ellen Pleasant? This can't be real.
Real or not, you've been carrying quite the load. You see, wealth isn't always about what you keep. It's what you connect.
Ida, be well?
When I wrote, I didn't just report, I revealed.
Right on time. So it wasn't luck, it was strategy. We have always been so innovative.
You're not starting something new, you're continuing something sacred.
I want to teach every Black woman business owner in the world about it. When I started this company, it wasn't just about selling hair care. It was about dignity, independence, community. That's what real marketing does. It doesn't just sell, it lives.
See, a true sale is not made in the pocket, it's made in the heart. Now, you go on and sell live, not for the applause, but for the impact.
Mary Ellen Pleasant. How did she do it? Oh, I wish I could just screw myself.
Mary? That. There you go. Now you can select the camera right there in that little box. If you just hover down. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, y'all. On air technical challenges, but we are back. We are back. All right, so let's see. This is the one downside of having such a fancy setup. You literally have to call the guy who set it up in the middle of it. So shout out to Tybo for coming on now. Let's get you on here. So first things first, let us know what you sell, your revenue last year, and your biggest sales challenge right now.
Right. Hello. Good morning. It's Miss Ashley and everybody. So I am Akinlana Burrows, aka the Hey Sis Therapist. I am the CEO and founder of Karibuni Counseling and Wellness. And as a licensed mental health counselor and corporate trainer, I facilitate the healing journey of high achieving women of color, providing both client workforce burnout prevention programs for our clients and corporates.
Okay, awesome. And what did you do in revenue last year, and what's your biggest sales challenge right now?
Yes. So I've been in business for 3 years. When we were insurance-based, we did about 90K. Then we pivoted to cash pay, and we were about 70K. Now that we're pivoting again to courses and training, which are this is pre-launch mode. We are at Hallelujah K because we have not launched yet. So this is why I'm here, to really get some guidance from you to launch these offerings to the world.
Okay, awesome. And why are you, so again, because we had 90K and now we at Hallelujah K. Why we do that? So why did we stop doing what was working and just not do more of what was working versus pivoting? What was the impetus for that?
So burnout prevention, like my own personal burnout, I am looking at ways that I can scale my business as well as not change from or add on to the one-to-one business model where I'm doing one-to-one therapy with clients to now doing one-to-many. And so seeing the 30 plus clients on a week workout burnout, not here for it. It's not sustainable. And I'm really looking for something that's more sustainable, that's going to, number one, serve God. Number two, serve my clients. And number three, create generational wealth. Both, because retirement is right around the corner for me.
Okay. All right. Let's give it up for her for being honest. I want to know if I have permission to help you with your mindset this morning. Okay. So number one, you said a couple of things. Personal burnout. Typically that comes from just not having, I don't believe burnout comes from working hard. I believe burnout comes from not knowing how to manage the work. There are tons of people who build incredible businesses on the one-to-one model that have scaled it to hundreds of millions of dollars. But the way that you scale one-on-one isn't by you doing all of the one-on-one. It's by you hiring competent people to do the one-on-one at scale. So legal services, for instance, the only way you scale a law firm is by having a ton of lawyers. Accounting firms, the only way you scale accounting firms is by having a lot of accountants. Getting them to do that work better, easier, faster is for sure a thing. And then therapy practices. There are several 8-figure therapy practice firms where they have a good amount of therapists and they just watch their profit margins to grow it. So any business can grow. Personal burnout typically comes from a lack of personal development in the area where you need to grow. I'm talking about for business owners. I'm not diagnosing anyone. I'm talking about for business owners. There are business owners that have 50 million a year businesses and they're not burnt out. And there's businesses that have $5,000 a year businesses and they're always burnt out. And it's typically because they have not managed their thoughts, okay? And if you don't know how to think about problems and solutions, those problems become an avalanche versus a weight that you can lift by developing muscle. So that's one. Two, okay, that's one. You didn't have to do all those one-on-ones. You could have hired therapists to do those one-on-ones. And clearly you are good at what you do, which is why you made some money. And so at $90,000, that tells me there's market viability. Okay. It also tells me that there's probably something that people are coming to you for in your counseling sessions that they love that makes you unique because they chose you over all the other therapists that were out there. And your dip from insurance to cash pay wasn't even that big. I mean, we're going from 90 to 70. That's not that big. And so there were probably some marketing things we could do to keep you a cash pay practice. You hire other therapists and then you get creative even in how you pay your therapist. Most are paid per client, per hour, but you don't have to do that. The same with law firms. Law firms typically are paying by the hour, but you could put people on salary. You could put people on flat fee. You could put people on percentage of income earned. You could do some creative things as long as it's within the ethical guidelines on how you charge, how you pay, and your area for therapy. I know it actually depends on your area that gives you the cap of like what you can charge per person, but there's still a way to bake in a pretty good profit margin there. I coach a lot of therapists. So that's one. But the thing I see a lot with therapists is they're so afraid of burning out that they typically just don't build big. And you all have the language to make it sound beautiful. It's like, yes, well, it didn't happen because of my blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's great. But you said you wanted to make money, right? And so you're going to have to do that self-work of, hey, I could have a $500 million company and it doesn't mean I have to burn out. You always live at the level of your beliefs. Okay, so that's one. Two, you're not worrying about scaling a business right now because the first thing you have to do before you even get to scale is you have to build a business. That's going to get you to your first $100,000, $200,000. When you are trying to grow a business, typically you're building up to $500,000. You're trying to grow a business from that $500,000 to $1 million. You're trying to scale a business from that $1 million plus. The first thing we have to do is build a business. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there are a ton of coaches and consultants that are quitting the industry right now. It's clearing out. And it's for the same reasons that you gave. So it's not an industry specific thing. And practically, you lose a little bit of that trust when you go from, hey, I just want to coach you, to I'm a licensed expert serving you. So I have a lot of authority. If I'm a lawyer and I'm selling my legal services, we have packages $6,000 to $20,000 per month because they understood she's a lawyer. This is her background. And similarly in therapy, if you sell it to large companies, that's a way to do it at scale. Like you could do workshops and things like that. But you never stop doing what's working to explore something new. So you always want to stabilize what you know works. If it were me, I'd be figuring out, hey, I'm going to go back to providing therapy services because that's what people are currently buying. You're too close to retirement to be gambling your revenue. And then on the side, I would explore one product in the coaching and consulting space. And personally, I wouldn't even get involved in that space. I would be selling wellness programs to corporations. But the sales cycle for corporate is 6 months. So I would not stop doing my one-to-one services. I would do my one-to-one services. I would build that out. And then I would be like on the side pitching 300 companies a week to land a wellness contract. And then simultaneously, I would get out of the one-to-one service delivery as fast as humanly possible. Okay, so I would get out of that with you doing it, but I would still have other people that do it, especially right now. Under the Trump administration, depression, unaliving, all has gone up. That's what recent history tells us in terms of mental wellness. This president is not good for mental health, and that's just not Democrat. I did vote Democrat last election, but Democrat and Republican doesn't really matter. He's not good for mental health because of the instability of the way he runs the country. And so because of that, people don't know how to think about it. So they need your services right now. I don't want any therapist who's good at it to not get out of it. But yeah, that's how I would approach it versus being like, I want to do something that's good. Like, are you still providing those one-on-one counseling services? How is that doing in revenue this year?
Yeah, I didn't clarify myself. I am not getting out of the one-to-one business at all. That is not my intention. I love my clients. I do great work with the women that I work with. So, and there's a couple of men that slip through also. So this is an add-on. I'm also, the group practice is also a part of the vision. It's really being able to have the system where I can now have this ongoing wait list of clientele. I also didn't share, but doing what's called, instead of just one-on-one, also doing therapy intensives. So getting into the space where instead of, says a lot of my clients are coming in on FMLA leave, they're coming in, they're burnt out, they already are exhausted. They don't have a lot of time to do the weekly therapy. So I have an accelerated healing therapy intensive where they can go from either 3 hours or 3 days and wipe out a lot of this workplace trauma, a lot of this racial trauma, this systemic oppressive trauma that is continuing to, especially if they want to go back into the workplace, right?
So
that's the aspect of it, is not just pivoting in terms of ignoring and abandoning the one-to-one work. It's the add-on.
Yes. Okay. So a lot of y'all are trying to add stuff on, but why? We got this main thing over here that could be amazing. So one, you're going to make better profit margins on the intensive, which you know, which is probably why you added that on. But I don't think we need to focus on courses and all this other stuff. If it were me, right now, the world is in kind of a hamster fire for some people, especially mentally. I would be focusing on selling these one-on-one intensives at $75,000 plus, and I just make $1 million doing that. Like if you really focused on having a $7,500, it could be a $7,500 one-day intensive, or you could do a $4,300, like you could do $4,300 for one day, $7,500 for a 2-day intensive, like a weekend intensive. And if you were to do that at the $7,500 and you got 50 people into that intensive, then all of a sudden, I mean, what is that? That sounds like that would be a pretty good year. That's $375,000. So now we have a product that people need, that there can't be that much competition in it because you have to be licensed and you have to know how to do it. A lot of practitioners don't offer it. If you have a landing page that says, hey, I want you to apply for this intensive, it may be a good fit for you, go back and offer that to every person who did your one-on-one. We're just focusing right there and on these intensives. And then you have some therapists that you train to actually do these intensives, and that really becomes your entryway, is the intensive. After the intensive, if they're like, oh, I can't do that, your downsell is the one-on-one. But your core offer should be offering these one or 2-day intensives. And then their downsell, or what you offer them afterwards, is maintenance. And that's the one-on-one monthly or twice a month monthly, and you can bundle those into packages. Like if you want to meet twice a week, it's this. If you want to meet 4 times a month, it's that, or twice a month, it's this. If you want to meet 4 times a month, it's that. If you want to meet weekly, we have a package for that, and you buy it in 3-month increments. I'd look at like, do my ethical rules allow me to sell it like that? Because if so, that's how I'd be selling it. I'd have standing appointments. And if you have a wait list, but you haven't hit 100K, we have a capacity issue. We don't want to have a wait list if we haven't hit our revenue number. So if our goal is to be $1 million practice, but I have a wait list and I'm only at $85,000 or on the runway for that, I have a capacity issue. I shouldn't have people waiting, because studies show, sales science shows, like 85% of people are going with whoever responds to them first. So I have doctors right now charging $30 to $45K for a procedure. And girl, they want me to wait until August. Baby, I'm gonna have another doctor by then. I could fly to Chicago and get the procedure and fly back. And you want me to wait until August? And it's a $40,000 procedure. So it's just like, why do they not know they're losing tens of thousands of dollars because they have these long wait lists and just expect people to wait? They're not going to wait because they have an urgent issue right now. Particularly people of color struggle with even getting a therapist, liking someone enough. They probably know you, got referred to your content. We don't want people to wait, okay? And so I would be selling these intensives, doing sales calls for these intensives, and then I would downsell them on the one-to-one. So you're getting more money, you're taking less clients, and then you still are filling your one-to-one pipeline, and that one-to-one can be with someone else, whereas an intensive can be with you and a practitioner. So I would do that. But I would caution you against being like, I burnt out at 90K, because I'm telling you, it presents, and you know this, right? Like the more you say things, you fixate on it in your mind, and then like physiologically, once you start hitting that 100K ceiling again, it's like, okay, this is where I burnt out last time. And there's always this little thing there that's like, is it going to happen again? Is it going to happen again? And I've just been committed to this, and I can't say it's right and I can't say it's wrong, but I definitely have experienced work-related burnout. And for a lot of people are in 2 camps. Like, I had to go to the hospital. I had to like take care of myself, the whole 9, right? And then half of my friends are like, okay, that's why I don't go hard, because look, Ashley burnt out. She had to go to the hospital for a few days and take care of herself. That's why I don't work hard. That's why I don't go and push myself, and I don't do all these things. And then I had a girlfriend who called me, and she was like, let me tell you what you're not going to do. She said, what you're not going to do is play small, because now you're living in fear of the boogeyman burnout. She was like, you're going to play big. And I told myself this, and I'm not giving y'all this advice. I'm telling y'all what I do for me, because I live one of the most fulfilled lives that I know. I don't want anyone's life but mine. But I told myself I would rather push myself to my limit than live afraid of a glass ceiling that I never break. I'd rather get cut going up than not push myself to my full potential, because my potential is tied to other people's potential. Meaning when I push myself, when I go there, what happens is other people get their breakthrough. Now, similar to a professional athlete that gets injured when they play full out, okay? We are mental athletes. So I'm not like LeBron on the court. This is my court. Coaching you is my court. So if physical athletes can play full out at the professional league and get injured physically, why do we think that experts will play full out and not get injured mentally? Now, are there things you can do to prevent it? Yes, but should you live your life in fear? I think not. So what did I do? I went and got a brain scan so I understand how my athletic muscle works. I get massages in my house once a week. I take a 6-week sabbatical with my family every year. I start my January very soft in first class everything, because it ain't really vacation if I got to go and slum it. So for me, I'm still going to be at the Ritz. It's still going to be first class. I'm going to drop 100K on a vacation at the start of the year. I figured out, what do I need to do to be optimal mentally so that I can still play full out? But I will not live my life in fear of the boogeyman burnout. And let me be clear, I coach men founders, I coach women founders. Women founders talk about burnout the most. And this is why people need to be at Black Women Sell Live. Women are always taught to live in fear. We're taught it in our language. We're taught it in how we're told to build. Well, build big, but don't be too big, because you could burn out. Don't build too big, you'll lose your marriage. Don't build too big, your kids won't love you. And so I just want to be very clear about where I stand. My marriage is tight. I do mommy and daughter days with my daughter. We've been married 14 years. That man ain't going nowhere, and I ain't going nowhere. Like, there is a way for you to build as big as humanly possible and have everything you want. And if you get hurt when you are playing as a professional, then what do? You recover. You don't quit. And I don't know why women don't tell women this, but if you got hurt, forgive yourself, do what you got to do, but you recover, you don't quit. The same way LeBron could injure his ankle. He's like, oh, can't play in the league anymore, got hurt. Only women are told to act like that. Only women are told, oh, well, you shouldn't play big. You got hurt. We're mental athletes. If we get hurt mentally, it's no different than a professional athlete getting hurt physically. So what do? You recover, you get better team, you get better doctors, you work with different people, you change your regime, but you are a professional. You play at the top every single time. I believe I am here to tell women, play full out. So I don't know who that was for, but if that was for you, drop me in the comments. But let me be very clear. Nobody tells a man, stop, because you got hurt on the court. In fact, most people are like, you can still play. It ain't that bad. Wrap it up. Like, there are some of you, your mission and your vision is too big for you to quit because you got hurt on the court. So I like this plan for you. I like an intensive with the downsell of the one-on-one. I wouldn't even be focusing on courses and all of that. I don't think it's necessary. It's not going to be easier than what you're doing now. I would develop the muscle to build a large practice with your intellectual property, but not with you doing all of the one-on-one. And if you get involved one-on-one, you could even make it where if you do the 7,500 level, that's where you get me. But at the 4,300 level, that's where you get a team member of mine who's trained by me and how to do this. So that would be how I would approach it. Is that good? Is that good for you? Did you get some value out of that?
I did. I do have a question around passive income streams, right? Because what this model is very active. And I'm looking long-term. And I also want to be able to identify and ask you, like, where would you identify a passive income stream down the road from this?
So I'm going to tell you the truth. And I know a lot of people have this question, and so I want to be very clear. Without active income, there is no passive. So you take a percentage of all of your active income every single month. You're going to say, okay, I made $50K this month. I'm going to take 10% of that. I'm going to put it in the market. I'm going to take another 10% of that. I'm going to put it in a fund to get real estate. We have Airbnbs. We have real estate. We have stocks. Those are all passive, meaning I'm not actively in our accounts every day. I look at it every now and then. But when it comes to business, the income stream is active. A digital product business is still active. You're passive on the delivery, but you're active on the selling. So in business is active, right? Now, if you are a owner of a business and not an operator of a business, then that is where you can get some more passivity. So you go and buy a gas station and you own it, but they already have operators. You go and buy a dry cleaners, which I hear are not great to buy, but then you already have those. So that's another way to do it like that. Or you're an investor. So you lend to other businesses. So I lend you $30,000, you pay me back $40,000 because you couldn't get the money anywhere else. So we have a higher markup on that. That's pretty passive. But then actively you have to collect it and make sure that they're pretty good about giving you your money. So what I think most people are not telling the truth about is that what you want to do is make so much active money that you can take a percentage of that active money and invest it into passive opportunities. And one of our speakers at the event is Dr. LaCorey Meadows. She teaches how to invest in the stock market and how to invest with options. That has been the easiest money we've made outside of Airbnbs. So our Airbnb this month will do like 5 or 6K. I'm not there. I don't even live in the same state as my Airbnb. So that's pretty passive for me. We have a good setup going, but I still have to actively approve them, right? And so I could get a property manager. But yeah, the first step, make money. Second step, make the money multiply. So because you're at retirement age, I'd be looking at the market. I'd be looking at real estate. I'd be looking at safer bets, especially if you have a 10-year horizon. I would not be looking at anything risky. And I wouldn't even be looking at startup investing outside of giving loans on platforms like, I can't think of them right now, but there are certain platforms you could put up 10K, somebody could borrow it, you'll get back 20% of that. That's an easier way to flip your money. So looking at things like that where it's not as intensive. But for those deals to really make the money you want to make, you need to invest so much on the front end that your 10 to 20% return actually gets you somewhere. So we're talking about $200,000 because now 20% of that $200,000, now we're talking about $40,000 generated. So if you could do something like that pretty consistently, now you can see the returns, which is why for most business owners, your income, your first step is like, how do I make so much money in this business that I can take percentages of of that money and then put it into some passive sources? But business is not passive. Even if you have a course and it's automated, you better be actively checking those funnels, actively checking those ads, actively building that out, actively making sure you have customer service support. And I think that's why so many of us are disillusioned because they are, marketers, they be lying, to be real. They be lying. It's not passive. Like, it is very much active. And so, yeah, but at the event, we will have a wealth building portion of the event. And the billionaire who's speaking on day 3 is going to be sharing what she does with her revenue. So that'll help. And I know you have your ticket. So let everyone know what made you get your ticket to Black Women Sell Live.
One word: systems. I know that is what I am lacking in my business. And I know that's what you got, because you didn't get to where you are with a whack system. So I need a system that I know functions well and excels and thrives, because that is what I am destined for, is thriving and for greatness. And I need a system that I can implement, because I'm ready to do the work. I just need a system to work.
Love that, love that, love that. Okay, you guys, get on the wait list, y'all. Y'all can't even buy your tickets today. I was letting y'all buy your tickets early and all that. No, get on the wait list for the Juneteenth sale. We're going to be having it on Friday. So get on the wait list for the Juneteenth sale. Marvick will drop the link, blackwomenselevent.com/Juneteenth. Let's give it up for our sister that launched a great conversation, and I'll see you in September. Y'all, that was such a good conversation. I love that she brought up burnout. That's one of my favorite topics. I just feel like the way the conversation is typically had to women is just in such a, one, they blame us, right? Like, oh, you shouldn't have been doing all that. One, they blame us. Two, they tell us to stay small because of it. And it's treated really like an indictment, and they would never do that to a man, frankly. And so I want you all to know, when you all are coming to Black Women Sell Live, when you're learning from me, I have lived experiences, okay? I have hit my breaking point and still decided to go hard and push past it. But there are different things that you do to make sure you have a personal services team. That's what I have developed for myself. And if you're a professional, and if as you're growing and as you're scaling, you need a professional services team. Now, when my business was smaller, I didn't have to worry about that as much, because I was so energized and excited by what I was doing that I wasn't thinking about, oh, I don't want to work too hard. Like, I just didn't have those kind of thoughts. So, you want to make sure that you're training your brain. You want your brain to assist you to reach your goals. You don't want your brain to be working against you in reaching your goals. Okay, so we're going to call up Sherelle. Sherelle is our next guest. Sherelle, you ready? Just make sure you mute me on any other device if you have me on there. We're going to call you up right now. Let's get you on the screen. Okay, awesome.
Hi, Ashley.
So go ahead and let us know your revenue last year, what you do in business right now, and your biggest sales challenge.
Okay. So my name is Sherelle Potter. I am the founder and CEO of Simply Perfection Events. We are an event management company where we help corporate teams and social clients execute well-elevated events using our proprietary desk method. So with desk, we define the objectives, we establish the strategy, then we structure the experience. I'm big on communication. Communication is cornerstone. So I keep my entire team knowledgeable, try to keep my client happy, mitigate any risk, and keep the execution tight to do a well-designed, well-executed event from start to finish. So last year, I got bootstraps on the ground. My last year's revenue was $12,000. This year, being into quarter 2, I'm at $14,000. And some of that I want to say thank you, Ashley. I did purchase your book, Speak Your Way to Cash. So that helped me establish my proprietary framework. That helped me build systems and structure. So some of that, I think, definitely helped me to surpass my revenue from last year, especially being in quarter 2 of this year. So thank you.
I love that. I love that. Okay, that's amazing. And then right now, what is your biggest sales challenge?
And I don't want to get my hand slapped because I know I got to do the work. It is pitching. So no excuse. I'm very strong in operations. So when it comes to the world of logistics and ambiguity, that is my lane's hands down. But what I have learned, don't. So another reason I have.
I think you're breaking up. Is she breaking up for anyone else, guys?
Self-reflection and building my business, because I also purchased my.
Okay. So I think you were breaking up. I don't know if we're gonna lose you or not. I heard the biggest sales challenge was pitching. Congrats on you hitting the 14,000 this quarter already. That's amazing. So we want to give it up for her for that. Congratulate her in the chat for that. You've already surpassed that, which is amazing. That's phenomenal. So I would say for pitching, it's just a process. And if one of the things that I found is if there's something that I cannot do, I can't commit to doing consistently, I will do all the parts on a Google document. So I'll find the people to pitch, I'll write out all of my pitches, and then I'll hire a virtual assistant or a pitch assistant, someone whose job it is to actually send those pitches out pretty consistently. It's their job to do that 300 a week. That way I don't have to worry if it gets done. It's literally someone else's job to do it, and they send me proof that it's done. So screenshots of those went out, proof of what the open rate is, like making sure that that gets done every single month. And then also looking at, okay, this quarter is already better than last year. Where did those clients come from? Was it referrals? Was it direct outreach? Was it pitching? And then develop a process where if it's 20% referrals and 80% cold outreach, that's a good system. Where if I'm pitching 100 people a week, 20 of them are people I know, 80 of those people are people I don't know at all. And those are just people who I'm gonna reach out to. All of our sponsors came from me pitching them directly. Even some of them I'd met at previous events and they did not agree to sponsor there. They didn't agree to sponsor until I sent them a formal direct email pitch proposal. And so I highly recommend that you all are doing outreach. Like you typically pitch at the level of your expectation. So if you know that, man, I could be doing this and I can land all these contracts, you're going to be aggressively going after those engagements, aggressively having sales calls. But similarly, if you're like, oh, I don't know if it'll really work, that's typically where that resistance comes in because no one wants to build a business that they don't think will win. So hopefully that is helpful to you and you were able to get some of that. And then we'll keep this up so you'll be able to watch the replay. And then let us know what made you come to Black Women Sell Live. It sounds like you already had the book. You decided to come to the
Yes, can you hear me okay, Ashley? Okay. Yeah, so my reason, my why literally is step outside my comfort zone. I want to be in a room with new people as well as like-minded people just to really grow and continue to try to scale.
Oh, when you join the waitlist, comment joined so that we can actually hear you. Okay, guys, that was amazing. I don't know how my mic went out. Dang. Okay. So hopefully you all can hear me now. You all should be able to hear me now. So when you join the waitlist on Friday, you guys, that's how you get on the show. That's how you get on the show. Okay. So that's how you get on the show. So you all should be able to hear me right now. Okay. All right. I'm not on mute. Strange. All right, so here we go, guys. I'll play this and then make sure you join the wait list now. If you're a Black woman entrepreneur who sells services and you're doing anywhere from $50K to $5 million a year, this video is going to cover two things for you. First, what Black Women Sell Live 2026 actually is and what you're going to walk away with. And second, how it's helped women just like you, women who are already in business, already selling, already making money, close bigger deals, sign corporate contracts, raise their prices, and make more in a single quarter than they possibly made the entire year before. Now, this is specifically for Black women who are already in business selling professional services. My coaches, consultants, lawyers, accountants, therapists, doctors with their own practice, speakers, practice owners who are already generating revenue and who are ready for what's next. If that's you, keep watching because what I'm about to show you was built for exactly where you are right now. Now, I'm hosting a 3-day business intensive designed to help you make more sales, build a specific sales plan to reach your next revenue milestone, and do it all while building the one thing you cannot put a price tag on. community with other Black women entrepreneurs who are achieving unimaginable levels of success right now in 2026. And here is what that has looked like for women who have already come through this event. I want you to hear from them.
Since working with Ashley, we have closed $100,000 webinars.
I landed my very first high-ticket paying client, my very first 5-figure contract.
I walked away with $210,000 in leads. 2 signed contracts and 1 forthcoming.
My ultimate annual salary was twice what I expected to bring in.
$125,000 sales month.
$274,131 to date.
I have secured a corporate contract with a $1 billion company.
A $50,000 contract.
A 5-figure contract. My first 5-figure corporate contract. My first $50K month.
A 5-figure contract.
$18,000.
$27,000.
$75,000 contract.
$141,400.
$685,000.
$30,000.
$20,000.
We've grown our revenue to over $3 million.
Now, one more thing before we get into exactly how this works. We actually practice what we preach. And what I mean by that is I have personally used every single sales strategy we teach at this event in my own business. Not as theory, but in my own business with my own money on the table. I started owning a law firm in legal services, so I know what it is to sell expertise in a credentialed and licensed professional space where people respect your degree and still try to negotiate your rate down to nothing. Not to mention, I've also sold professional consulting services to large corporations. I have also closed 5-figure and multi-5-figure corporate consulting contracts with companies like AbbVie Pharmaceuticals, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and FCB. I know what it's like to walk into a procurement meeting as a Black woman and walk out with a signed deal. I have sold from stages, closed consulting retainers, built and scaled coaching programs, over 11 million in personal sales, 14,000 paid customers, both B2B and B2C, corporate and individuals, and every sales vehicle we teach, I have personally used. All that to say, nobody else running a business event for Black women entrepreneurs has this kind of track record across this many markets and this many sales vehicles, not even close. But look, as you know, any event out there can pull their best testimonials and plaster them on a page. Cherry picking your best client, your best month, your best result, that does not prove anything. So here's what I want to do instead. I want to tell you exactly what every single woman who leaves this event actually takes with them, because that is what actually matters. You are going to leave Black Women Sell Live with 3 finished documents in your hand. A 1-page sales plan where your revenue is coming from, who you are selling to, and exactly how you're going to close them. A 1-page marketing plan, every place your ideal client lives, how they find you, and how you move them cold to ready to invest. And a 1-page operations brief, because your ceiling right now is probably not your offer. It is that you are still one of the best at selling in your company. This brief is how your team learns how to close without you being a part of every conversation. Now, each of these documents is going to be 1 page each, because if your plan needs too many slides to explain it, it may never get executed. You build all 3 live in the room on day 3. You leave with them in your hand. You implement them the moment you get home. And here is the challenge that we put in front of every single woman who walks through that door. We want you to make more revenue in Q4 of 2026 than you made all of 2025. Now, I'm not making any guarantees, so this is my disclaimer. Results are not typical. You have to do the work. You have to decide what you're going to do. But that is my challenge to every single woman coming to this event. Not a little more, 3 times more. Make the plan for that. And we want you to do it for 1 quarter. This event is literally days before Q4 starts. And we do not just throw that number at you and send you home with ideas. We build the plan in the room together. So if that is already enough and you want to grab your seat, click the button below this video right now. Fill out the short application and choose your track. VIP and platinum tickets are extremely limited. Last year, our event sold out completely. Now, if you want to know more about how this works and why it works, just keep watching. I want to tell you something personal for a second. Every year when I start planning this event, the first question I ask myself is, what does this room actually need to hear right now? Not what sounds good, not what sells tickets. What do these women actually need? And this year, the question kept me up at night because I was watching what was happening around us in 2026. The Voting Rights Act, Section 2 repealed. DE&I programs dismantled across corporations, universities, government agencies gone. 350,000 Black women forced out of the workforce, not laid off, pushed out systematically. Contracts pulled, opportunities closed, doors that were cracked open shut again. And I kept thinking about the theme for this event. I originally thought about making the theme legacy, about the women who came before us, about inheritance and lineage and what we were building for the generations that come after, and that was real and that matters. But I sat with what was happening right now, not 150 years ago, right now in 2026, and I realized that while legacy is important, it's not the word this year. This year, the world is different. Because when they repeal laws that were supposed to protect you, you fight back. When they dismantle the programs that were supposed to open doors for you, you fight back. When they push 350,000 of us out of the workforce thinking they will quietly disappear, you fight back. And the most powerful way a Black woman entrepreneur fights back in 2026 is not necessarily just with a picket sign, but it is with a plan. It is with a sales system that does not need their approval to run. It is with corporate contracts that put you across the table from the same institutions that tried to count you out, but they're cutting you a check this time. It is with a business that generates revenue whether or not anyone in power decides to include you. That is why this year's theme for Black Women Sell Live is Fight Back. And that is exactly what we're doing September 25th through 27th. Now, let me tell you why you specifically need to be in this room. Right now, there are approximately 300,000 women entrepreneurs globally making over $50,000 a year. 88% of solo Black women business owners make under $50,000. The average is $24,000 a year. We face a 3 times higher loan rejection rate than white business owners with identical credentials. 61% of us are self-funding everything. And now, on top of all of that, 350,000 of us have been pushed out of the workforce in 2026, which means the women in this room are not just building businesses, they are building lifelines for themselves, for their families, for the women coming behind them who are watching to see if it's actually possible. The empowerment conferences will not show you that math. The Girl Boss Summits will not address what is actually happening out there. They will clap for you, hug you, cry with you, take photos, and send you home with a highlighted notebook, and your revenue will not change because motivation is not a fight back strategy alone. A plan is. And here is something I need you to hear. A lot of the women watching this video right now are doing referrals and word of mouth. And it's working, but it's not consistent. Some months are great. Some months the pipeline is empty and you have no idea why. And you cannot scale it because there is no system. It is just roulette. Some of you are posting content every single day and waiting for the algorithm to decide if your business grows this month. That is not a business. That is gambling. Some of you have been networking, speaking for free, sending proposals that never got answered, sitting in rooms where you are the only one who looks like you, and wondering if you are doing something wrong. You are not doing something wrong. You were never shown the right system. There are 7 sales vehicles for professional service experts. Most women are maybe using one. We are gonna teach you all 7 and which ones belong in your specific business based on whether you sell to corporations, small business owners, or individuals. Because the fight back is not just emotional, it is structural. You need leads that do not depend on an algorithm. You need a close rate that does not depend on whether the right person saw your post that day. And you need a team that sells for you so that your revenue does not stop when you stop. This is what we are building in September.
It has allowed my business to grow tremendously.
I feel more confident in my pricing. I feel more confident in the value that I provide. Being scared of selling and pitching and hitting people up, all those fears are gone.
I can't use being an introvert as an excuse anymore.
I'm changing my mindset hour by hour since I've been here.
I have clarity. Everything is written out and it's not living in my head for the first time in my business. I've got calls lined up. People are paying me for my expertise.
I think I've become more fearless. Like if I get feedback, I just act on it. Like I don't hold back. I don't overthink anymore.
I've grown tremendously, not only as a business owner, but as a woman, as a wife, as a mom. It has allowed me to just stand more powerfully in who I am.
Now, here is something that makes the event completely different from everything else in this market. This event is built around women who look like us, who did more with less. And every single day of this event, I am gonna have a Black woman or a descendant of a Black woman millionaire standing on the stage to tell you how you can do it too. They're not there just to inspire you. They're there to show you exactly how they did it so you can take the same principles and apply them to your fight right now. Day 1 closes with a descendant of Maggie Lena Walker, the first Black woman to charter a bank in the United States, 1903. No capital, no institutional access. The system was not built for her. The institutions were not going to include her. So she built the institution herself. She did not wait for permission. She fought back by building something they could not take away. If you are a builder trying to lay the foundation that actually lasts, this is the blueprint closing out day 1. Now day 2 closes out with the great-great-granddaughter of Madam C.J. Walker, the woman who started with $1.50 and built the first female-led, self-made $1 million empire in American history, without access to capital, without a safety net, with a world that was actively working against her at every level. She fought back with a sales force of 40,000 agents who multiplied her revenue while she slept. She fought back by building a machine that ran whether or not anyone in power decided to help her. If you are a grower trying to break through to your first 7 figures, that is the exact fight back strategy closing out day day 2. And billionaire Dr. Trisha Bailey closes the entire conference out on day 3. She is the richest Jamaican-born woman in the United States. Her name is on a building at the University of Connecticut. She is not closing this event out to give you a speech. She is closing it to show you what the fight back looks like when you take it all the way. When you do not stop at your first ceiling or your first million or your second ceiling or your third, when you build to $1 billion. 3 days, 3 women, 3 chapters of the same fight. Builders need chapter 1. Those of you seeking your first 6 figures. Growers need chapter 2. Those of you seeking your first $500,000. And scalers need chapter 3. Those of you aiming for your first or your second or your third or your fourth or maybe even your 10th million. And every woman in that room needs to understand that this is not just about history. This is about your playbook. Now, let me walk you through exactly what each day covers. Day 1 is all about unlimited leads. Every place your next client is sitting right now. Every channel and platform and relationship for corporations and small business CEOs and individual professionals. Sessions include turning bias into Benjamins, how to take every single obstacle that is working against you right now in 2026 and make it work for you instead. Then we have the lead matrix, how to find every source of new clients that your business should be looking to right now simultaneously. Then we have a session called Who is Your Buyer? How corporations buy different than individuals, how small business CEOs are a third market entirely. We break down all 3. Then we go into $1 million offers for expert service providers, why your current offer structure is leaving money on the table. Then we go into how to re-engage your former clients. The fastest money in your business is already in your contact list, and we are going to go get it. Then we do something called messaging metamorphosis, live hot seats with me where I am coaching you on the exact language you should be using to convert. Your path to wealth is your words, and if you don't know how to strategically, systematically weave them together to build a case for your offer, you will after Black Women Sell Live. Now, day 2 is all about sales vehicles that work in 2026. We're going over all 7 of them. Speaking, sales calls, LinkedIn, direct outreach, and more. We're gonna talk about which ones need to be in your business right now, which ones match your market, your personality, your phase, and then we're gonna go into corporate contracts unlocked, your blueprint for landing large organizational institutional clients. This is where big checks live. And in a year where DE&I programs have been dismantled, Black women need to know how to walk in and still close deals. Then we're gonna go over sales call mastery, whether you have had a formal sales process or you're starting one for the first time. Then we're gonna talk about direct messaging and the dollars that are in your DMs if you use them, LinkedIn and other social media platform strategies you can use to close more deals. Then we go into the experts close, where I take 10 years of data on us doing events and selling and put it into a case study to show you strategies you should be using to leverage events to sell more services. The great-great-granddaughter of Madam C.J. Walker closes us out on day 2. Now, day 3, we're gonna build your plan. We're gonna work your plan. We're gonna do the Q4 challenge launch, where we set your 3 times number, specific, real, and we make it yours. We're gonna build your 1-page sales plan, your 1-page marketing plan, your 1-page operations brief. We are gonna build you out a sales team plan that produces without you. When to hire, who to hire, based on whether you're in the build phase, the grow phase, or the scale phase. We're gonna talk about selling as an expert and scaling and what that looks like, and selling as an introvert and scaling and what that looks like. And then Sunday night, we close with a gospel concert. Because after everything you built in that room, after seeing the math clearly, after sitting in a space of 1,000 Black women experts who all decided to fight back, you need to feel what is possible. Not just for your business, for your life, for your family, for every woman coming behind you who needs to see that it is actually possible. And I want to say something about the room itself, because this might be the most important thing I say in this entire video. 48% of female entrepreneurs have 0 mentors. For Black women, it's even worse. The higher you climb, the more alone you may feel, because there are not enough Black women at the level you can call when you need real advice. That's why we're bringing in not just millionaires, but a billionaire. And in 2026, when 350,000 of us have been pushed out of the workforce, when programs designed to create access have been stripped away, that isolation is even more real. That changes the moment you walk into the room with 1,000 Black women experts, all at different phases of the same journey, all fighting back in their own way. From builders sitting next to scalers and growers sitting next to women who've already crossed 7 figures last year, the referral partnerships, the collaborations, the mentorships that nobody formally arranges, but that happen naturally when you put us in a room together. That's what you're coming into. These connections are worth more than any single session in the agenda. You are not just buying 3 days of an intensive training. You are buying your way into a community that can last with you a lifetime.
I'm so excited to be one of the many Black women who are in here thriving, to be a community with women and led by a woman who is killing it I mean, it has been 10 out of 10 for me.
We've gotten vulnerable and open with each other early. I just didn't have to do everything on my own.
The women that were in the room, I looked at them as trusted people because they've already been vetted.
The things that they do, from sending me that special gift on my birthday, sending me flowers, you're never alone and they're never tired of you.
Before I joined, I prayed for community, and that's exactly what I found. People that care about me, not just for my business, but as a person.
I was lonely. This community gave me what I needed to excel. You know, I'm locked in for life, right? I love you.
Now look, I know what some of you are thinking. I have been to events before. I spent the money, I came home, nothing changed. And I believe you. I believe every single word, because those events were not built to fight back with you. They were built to make you feel good enough to come back next year. They hand you a generic playbook made for someone else. They do not address the fact that you are self-funding everything while being the primary breadwinner. They don't acknowledge that you walk into rooms and get underestimated before you open your mouth. They do not talk about what it costs to be operating in 2026 as a Black woman building a business while the world is actively reorganizing against you. But we do. I don't know if the timing is right. You may be thinking that. And I want you to sit with that for a second. 350,000 Black women were pushed out of the workforce. DE&I has been dismantled. The Voting Rights Act, parts of it have been literally repealed. And you are asking if the timing is right to invest in a plan that makes your business untouchable. The timing has never been more right. The fight back is not something you can delay. We have 1,000 seats. Now, close to 50% of those seats, as of the recording of this video, were already gone. We have close to 5 platinum tickets left and a handful of VIPs. Now there's 4 ticket types, a justice ticket type. That's the ticket type that our sponsors help to fund, so you can get in the door and be a fly on the wall. We have a general ticket type where you're able to get in the room and get a digital workbook and come to weekly pre-event trainings that are happening every week leading up to the event. We have a VIP ticket type that gives you a printed workbook. You get early access to getting in the room. You have a private VIP and platinum mixer. And we have a platinum ticket type. It's our highest tier ticket. In a sea of 1,000 women who are incredible, I take 15 of you who are platinum ticket holders, and we have an intimate networking session and coaching experience only for us over lunch. You get gifts, you get reserved seating about 10 minutes before the event starts. You are our special guest for the weekend. Now, we have had all kinds of women come to these events. It's for women who have a business, women who have a plan, women who have a desire to grow. If you want to stay where you're at, don't come. If you want to make excuses more than you want to make away, don't come. But if you are ready to be pushed, I promise you, I will push you over this 3-day intensive. Join us at Black Women Sale Live 2026. I can't wait to see you there. Get your ticket below. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm so excited about this event. It's literally going to be amazing. And if you're like, Ashley, I can't wait for September. I already got my ticket for September. I'm ready to go. Okay, I'm ready to go. I'm excited about that. Let me know if you already got your ticket. Just drop ticket in the comments if you're already, or drop coming in the comments if you're coming to Black Women Sell Live. And then if you need your ticket, drop waitlist in the comments, because you need to get on the waitlist for our Juneteenth sale, okay? Juneteenth is... we're doing a Juneteenth sale. We've never done a Juneteenth sale before. Like this year, let me just explain something to y'all. This is the year of doing what you've never done before, okay? This is the year of doing what you once thought was impossible, or it didn't take all that. This is the year that you do that, because the year you decide to grow, when it looks like things are not growing around you, is the year you do what you've never done before to get what you've never had before, okay? And so I want to commend all of you who are showing up to this show, showing up to yourselves, listening to something that's going to actually help you go to the next level versus something that's going to keep you small versus negativity. I want to applaud all of you who watch this show, because baby, like, we are about that action. I am really, 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 really passionate about helping entrepreneurs to build big businesses, build sustainable businesses, scalable businesses, because I believe we should be able to take a piece of that money and put it into things that matter, whether it's for your wealth building, and you should be taking a piece of your money and putting it into causes that you care about, giving back, donating, all the things. Now, there are some of you who are like, okay, Ashley, this is great. I'm going to come to that event, but that event is in September. What do you have for us now? Now, just so you know, if you have your ticket to the event, every Thursday, meaning tomorrow, I think it's Thursday. No, tomorrow's Wednesday. So every Thursday, we have pre-event trainings for you if you have your event ticket. So you will get to come to stuff ASAP once you buy your ticket. But for those of you who want to land big contracts, corporate clients, leveraging AI, you need to be at the AI Corporate Sales Lab, aicorporatesaleslab.com, aicorporatesaleslab.com. Make sure you go to that link while we are live and get your ticket to the aicorporatesaleslab.com. I cannot wait to see y'all there. It's going to be off the chain. During this event, here's what we're going to do just so that you all have an idea. And if you have any questions about any of our events, let me know. But I want you to get it's only $17. You can't even get a Chipotle bowl with guac for that, y'all. You can't. Where are you going to get it from? You're not going to get it. So you might as well come to the AI Corporate Sales Lab, spend 2 days with me this month, and I will coach you on how to land corporate clients using AI, what we're doing, what we're seeing that works. I want you to check it out and get your ticket. Quick question. Have you ever looked at your bank account at the end of the month and thought, I am literally too good at what I do to just be making this? Have you ever been in a room in a meeting or a conference call, client call, and known without question that you were the most qualified person there and still walked away with the smallest check? Or have you ever done the math on what you're actually making per hour? I mean, I was making $300,000 in my partner track job, but when I did the math on all the hours I worked, sometimes 80 hours a week, I was only making about $80 an hour. Have you ever watched someone with half your credentials, half your experience, and honestly, half your results land a contract bigger than yours and wondered why? Or have you ever thought about what you're about to leave? Maybe you're leaving a $100K, $200K, or like me, a $300,000 salary or a partner track to build something of your own. And now maybe you've made that jump and you realize you're working twice as hard to get half. And the one nobody wants to say out loud is, have you ever thought that the business you built is actually just a very expensive, very exhausting version of the job you left? If any of that landed with you or hit you in the heart, I want you to keep watching because this is the event for you. And I'm going to show you exactly why that's happening, what it's called, and more importantly, how to fix it right now. What you're experiencing has a name, and I call it the expert income compression. And it affects almost every single doctor, lawyer, CPA, therapist, coach, and consultant who is good at what they do. Here's how it works. See, you spend years, sometimes decades, becoming genuinely excellent at your craft. You get the degree, the license, the certification, the results. You become legitimately one of the best in your field. And then you go to market, and the market pays you like a freelancer. Not because your experience is invaluable, but because you're selling it the wrong way to the wrong buyers in the wrong package at the wrong price. And the painful irony of this is, and this one might sting a bit, the more expert you become, the worse this problem gets, because the more you know, the more you try to explain. The more you explain, the more you sound like a practitioner. The more you sound like a practitioner, the less corporate buyers understand what to do with you. Your expertise is working against your income. And until you fix that, it doesn't matter how many certifications you get, or how many licenses you get, or how many more degrees you get, or more clients you take on, or how many more hours you put in, leaving time with your family to do grueling work that's underpaying you. This ceiling does not leave on its own. But I'm not coming against you because I know this because I lived it. I left a $300,000 job as a federal trial attorney at one of the most prestigious law firms in the country, Kirkland & Ellis, to build my own business. And I started small, selling small offers, filling a calendar, grinding, a model that had a ceiling I kept hitting my head on. And then I made a shift. I stopped selling small offers to individual buyers only and started selling 5-figure offers to SMBs and corporate buyers. One $25,000 contract replaced 50 individual sales. We've now done this over and over again and taught 10,000 experts across every license and every credentialed profession the strategy. We've been on the Inc. 5000 list twice, over 1,200% growth since 2020. And I don't tell you this to impress you, but to tell you that what I'm about to show you works. And it works across every field, at every level. Now, let me show you exactly where the problem lives. The expert income compression model shows up in 4 specific places, and I want to walk you through all 4 because I guarantee you're living in at least 2 of them right now, and understanding which one is the final step to fixing them. Number 1 is your offer. Right now, you're selling time, an hour of your expertise, a session, a project, a retainer by the hour. And I want you to understand something. Time is the worst thing you can sell because time is finite. It caps your income at whatever your calendar allows, and it forces you to justify your rate by the hour instead of by the outcome. Corporate buyers do not buy time. They buy outcomes. They buy solutions to business problems. They buy programs with names and structures and deliverables and results. And until you have a packaged corporate offer, not a services menu, not an hourly rate, not a let's chat and see what you need, you cannot land a corporate contract at the size that you need. Not because you're not qualified, but because you're speaking in the language of you're not speaking in the language of the purchase order. Number 2 is your language. This one is subtle and it'll cost you millions if you don't fix it. When I say I help people overcome anxiety, a VP of HR hears a therapist and thinks individual therapy, which is not a line item in her budget. But when you say, I deliver a 90-day corporate resilience program that reduces burnout-related turnover by 30% and is measurable at 60 and 90 days, that same VP of HR reaches for her procurement process. Nothing changed except the language. Same expertise, same person, different language, different results. You are speaking practitioner. Corporate buyers think executives, and until those two things match, you will remain invisible to the buyers who have the biggest budgets. Number 3 is your pipeline. Be honest with yourself for a second. Where your next client coming from? And if the answer involves referral, word of mouth, they find me, or I post on social media and hope, ... you don't have a pipeline. You have a prayer and a hope. And corporate revenue is not built on hope alone. It's built on proactive, repeatable, systemic outreach processes, targeting specific companies, specific decision makers, specific budget cycles with specific messaging designed to convert. Nobody teaches this in your licensing program. Nobody teaches this in your degree. And your last certification surely missed this lesson. And the reason most credentialed and licensed experts never land consistent corporate contracts isn't because the contracts don't exist. It's because they've never been taught how to go get them. Number 4 is your ask. And this is the one that keeps more money on the table than all the others combined. Most licensed and credentialed experts are terrified to say the number, not because the number isn't justified, but because you've been conditioned by your education, by your profession, by your entire career to believe that charging too much is wrong, that it's arrogant, that someone will say no and it'll mean something about your worth. So you quote $3,000 when the buyer expected $30,000. You quote $10,000 when the budget was $100,000, and you negotiate yourself down before they even push back. And the buyer walks away thinking either you don't know what you're worth, or worse, that the program isn't worth much at all because your price said so. Corporate buyers are not shocked by the $50K price tag. Their training and development budgets have commas in them. You are the only one in the room who thinks the number is too high. Here's the one that's gonna sting a little bit. You went into your field because you wanted to help people. And the more you've committed to that, the better you've gotten. The deeper your expertise, the more results you've created, the more trapped you've become. Because every hour you pour into becoming excellent is another hour you spent building a practice that depends entirely on you showing up. You're not building a business. You're building a very well-credentialed, very exhausting, very high-performing job. And the ceiling on that job is your calendar. Now, I want you to imagine this. Imagine you wake up on a Monday morning, and instead of looking at the calendar full of back-to-back individual clients, you're looking at 2 corporate engagements that together paid you $80,000 last quarter. Imagine instead of chasing referrals, your pipeline has 30 target companies in it, decision makers identified, outreach scheduled, running in the background while you deliver. Imagine instead of justifying a $500 session, you're presenting a $50,000 proposal to a room of executives who already said they have a budget. And the conversation is about scope, not price. Imagine AI building your offer with it, writing your outreach, researching your buyers, and creating your materials so that what used to take you a month now takes you an afternoon. This isn't a fantasy, y'all. Welcome to this year. This is what happens when a credentialed expert stops selling their time and starts selling their expertise to buyers who can actually afford to pay it. And it starts with one thing: one corporate offer, one target buyer, one outreach system. That's it. That's exactly why we built the AI Corporate Sales Lab. And I want to tell you what it is and what it isn't, because they are very different things. This is not a conference. This is not a room full of people watching slides. This is not a motivational event where you leave inspired but broke. Here's what it is. It is a one-day working session where we do 3 specific things together. In the morning, we find your buyer. Using AI, we build your target list. We show you which companies have budgets right now, which decision makers control it, how to get to them, and what to say. You leave the morning session with a real list of buyers. In the afternoon, we build your offer, not a concept or a framework, an actual named, priced, packaged corporate offer. We build it live in the room using AI to compress what usually takes weeks into a single hour. You will have something you can sell before you leave the room. At the end, we're going to give you outreach, the LinkedIn messages, the email sequences, the discoveries. We're going to actually show you how you can customize your language to a corporate buyer and reach out to them. You're going to leave with 3 things most credentialed experts spend years trying to figure out: done in one day. Now, here's the thing. There's never gonna be a perfect time to do this. You're busy. I know every expert I've ever worked with was busy when they made the shift, but busy doing what? Busy filling your calendar with $500 sessions or $5,000 sessions that should really be $50,000 contracts? Think about it. If you had a leak in your roof, a slow one, not dramatic, just dripping, and someone said, I'll show you how to fix it for free, would you say, let me wait until a better time? The leak doesn't care about your schedule. And every month you stay in the model you're in right now. The gap between what you're making and what you could be making gets wider. The experts in your field who are landing 50K and 100K contracts right now, they're not smarter than you. They just figured this out. So here's what I want you to do. If you're a doctor, a lawyer, a CPA, a therapist, a coach, a consultant, or if you have any expertise, credentials, or degrees, and you don't think you're being paid what you're actually worth, I'm not saying you're not being paid, but if you know you're made for millions or more, then I want you to register for the AI Corporate Sales Lab. It's one day, you leave with your offer, your buyer, and the outreach to build. We're gonna make sure that this time works for you. We'll make sure the content is relevant to your specific field and your specific goals. And if you show up and it's not for you, you've lost a few hours in a day. But if you show up and it is for you, one corporate contract could change your entire year. I'll see you in the lab. I'm Ashley Kirkwood, founder of Speak Your Way to Cash and your sales bestie, and I cannot wait to help you master landing 5- and 6-figure contracts, leveraging AI, so you get paid the way your expertise deserves. Thank you. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. Did we not have a fabulous show today, y'all? Even with tech issues, we made it work. Okay, I was fixing tech issues in real time on this show today. But that's what this show is. It's live. It's live, so you can see everything. Here's what I'll say. I want y'all to go out there. I want you to make more sales. I want you to live more life. I want you to push yourself responsibly. And I want you to know, I need you to know, I need you to understand that there are people out there winning right now, and there's no reason why it should not be you. There is no reason it should not be you that's winning right now. There's no reason why you shouldn't be the one landing a $100,000 contract, a $50,000 contract or more. There's no reason. Now, I don't believe you get what you want. I don't believe you get what you desire. I believe you get everything you're willing to work for, everything you're willing to give up some things for, everything you're willing to suffer temporarily for. I believe the life of your dreams is behind the work that you are avoiding. And so if you will put one foot in front of the other, you stayed up late for your degree, you paid a lot of money for your degree, but you won't give your business that same level of attention, or you have not yet. I want you to give that same level of attention to your business. I want you to put money into it. I want you to stay up late for it. I want you to study hard for it, learn good information for it, do what you have to do for it, because that degree cannot be handed down to your kids, but your business can. Your business can. And so I want you all to go out there, make more sales, live more life. Thank you, everybody. Wonderful show today. I will see y'all tomorrow, and then I'll see you again on Friday.